So God knew this world would see this disconnect on a scale this world has never seen before. The world's imbalance has all but tried to destroy the natural laws of creation put in play by father and mother from the start. Revelation 12. We know that Satan hates women. It's his absolute goal to destroy the woman because of the power of creation that we hold within us. And it's been that way since the very beginning. This world has fallen out of connection, and you cannot love God, creation, and you're part of creation, so you can't love yourself or creation or others in a disconnected state of being. We have shut the spiritual off, and the distractions keep us right where the enemy wants us distracted. Okay, so the examples of this are phones, the apps on the phones, video games, TV, movies, jobs, school, extracurricular activities take up all of our time. So how do we begin to heal this? How do we begin to heal this world from the biggest iniquity in Scripture and reconnect ourselves and families and our posterity back to God? So these generational curses have to be broken. And we must go to the root of how this separation of body and spirit takes place. Okay. So Father and Mother want me to talk about or share the law of creation using the example of childbirth, the process of God's natural laws of creation, from God's perspective and then clearly from the world's perspective. So like I said, they were walking me through what the natural laws of creation look like that they implemented for the kingdom of God, and what the world idea of disruption of that process and the disconnect that it creates within us. Okay, so mothers, we bring life into the world, so this is our job to heal this, and we cannot heal something if we don't know how to heal it and we don't know where the root of the problem is. If we don't understand what the root of the problem is, we continue to put band-aids over things and nothing ever gets healed. And that's literally what's happened to this world, is that everything has been band-aid and the problem has been masked over, but the root of the problem still remains. Okay, so they're going to have me talk about the childbirthing process that Father and Mother implemented of the laws of creation and how it was intended to work. Okay, so clearly, when we have a man and a woman, right? But they are supposed to be in a godly union, right? So when a husband and a wife come together, obviously, we talked about fathers are meant to create, women are creation, so the seed is planted. When that is done in the pureness of between that husband and that wife, or husband and wife, the seed is planted on a firm foundation. Okay, we're going to use the foundation that Christ promised that he will build his kingdom upon, and that's the rock of the Spirit. Okay, so you have that firm foundation that seed has just been planted on. Okay, and as women, our bodies were designed for creation. Our bodies know exactly what to do throughout a pregnancy, okay? Throughout the creation process, our bodies know exactly what they're supposed to do. If we're in tune with our spirit, when something is off or amiss, we will know in the spirit what needs to be done in order for the baby to receive what it is needing. And so Mother's asking me to share this example of this. So with one of my children, he was born literally in 34 minutes. And the whole pregnancy, the whole delivery, the whole labor was 34 minutes. And when I got to the hospital, they had, the nurses were panicked because he was literally coming out and the doctor wasn't in the room. And they were like, stop pushing. And I said, I'm not pushing. My body was literally just naturally doing what it was designed to do. Okay. So in the natural laws of creation and childbirth, we go through the pregnancy. I've tried to do this video many times, and I'm going to get through it today because so I'm just going to rebuke this attack on my throat and continue forward. So when a baby enters the world, there is a process that occurs in the birthing process that is the most intense creation light that you can experience. Okay. And so, and then the best way to explain that light is it's compared to the most intense orgasm that one can achieve in this life, right? It's extremely intense light. And that's part of the birthing process. That's supposed to take place, okay, within our bodies. That's supposed to take place, okay? So when a baby, again, we're talking about the kingdom, okay, when a baby enters the world, they are literally supposed to have 8 heartbeats, and that connects all the energy wheels, the main energy wheels in their body, that puts everything into motion. Okay, and those energy wheels are talked about in Ezekiel 1, and he goes kind of into it. 1 and 2 is what I would read. And so it connects the 3 lower energy wheels to our heart, which our heart is connected to the earth. Okay, so now we're entering this worldly sphere, this earthly sphere, and our hearts are supposed to be connected to the earth. So our 3 bottom wheels connect us to the earth. Okay, and then the 3 top wheels connect us, opening, our crown chakra at the time of birth is absolutely opened, and those 3 connect us spiritually. So our heart and our body are supposed to be absolutely one. So that's part of this intense light, right? Your body and your spirit are coming together as one. All your energy field is coming completely intact. Okay, so the 8 breaths represent those wheels. Okay, so the 8 heartbeats. Okay, so at heartbeat 8, the baby takes its first breath. Yahweh, okay, the breath of life, it breathes it in. Okay, so then a third of a baby's blood is held within the placenta. I don't know if you've ever seen a placenta, but it's actually very intricate and amazing. But a third of the baby's blood is still in that placenta. And it can take an hour or 2 for that blood to completely flow back into the baby, being the most important blood that they actually receive back into them. It builds up their immune system. It's very critical for your baby to receive that blood back from the placenta because it's their blood, and it's a third of it is in them. So they need to receive it back into their body. Okay. And then a baby is, placed on the mother. And when you have a delivery in the way that father and mother designed it, the father and mother are the only ones that are actually in the room, which is why Luke 2, the fact that Mary and Joseph were in that stable was absolutely by divine design. It was not by mistake. Your baby is never supposed to be passed from person to person to person to person. This is part of the 7-day purification process that the mother goes through, but it's also for the child leading up to the 8th day of circumcision. Okay. You and that baby and the father, it's a bonding. It is a massive bonding for that child. It is never to be passed to anyone else during those 7 days. Okay. So your baby, and then, wrapped in linen. Why was Christ wrapped in linen? Yes, he was wrapped in strips of linen because it had to do with the stripes that he would bear for the world, that he would take upon himself for the world. But the linen keeps that baby in a vibration of the heavenly realm. Okay, that's why the vibration of linen is like 5,000. And so the baby's wrapped in linen, and it is kept sheltered between basically the wings of those two parents. And it's a shield and a protection. And in that process, a child is able to be carried or taken up, or Revelation 12, how the child is caught up to the throne of God. Okay, so our children, that's the whole purpose, so that they can begin their journey that they are beginning on this earth, and they're caught up into that heavenly realm. They're connected both body and spirit. There was no separation between their body and their spirit. Okay, that is the natural laws of creation for childbirth. Okay, so the world, we obviously understand, see how the world does it. Okay, the world says, and also, and God gives the baby a name. It's done on God's timing, exactly when that baby is supposed to arrive. Okay, so there's lots of father and mother put into play, and it's exactly how it was designed. These are the natural laws. Okay, so then we have how the world does it. Well, you go in, you have, they tell you if you need a medication, or, hey, we can make your delivery really easy. We can induce you. We can give you an epidural. All these things that are going into the baby, right? The world tells us that we don't need a spouse. We don't, we can do it on our own. Whatever that looks like, right? So everything is being disrupted. So even down to the baby's birth date of when they come. So what happens when a baby enters the world? You're in a hospital. There's many people that touch that baby from the very start. The umbilical cord is immediately clipped. A lot of the times they'll tip a baby over, or they'll pat them on the butt to get them to cry before the 8 heartbeats has happened. So they're making them breathe before they're supposed to breathe. They wipe the white chalk, stuff that is meant for coating and protection, off of them. They put ointment in their eyes, which is helps anyway, just take it to the Lord. And the baby gets passed from person to person to person. Okay. Do we see the difference? Okay, so when this happens, okay, the difference of what Father and Mother had me explain with the laws of creation and natural childbirth is that the spiritual and the physical is absolutely connected the way it's supposed to be. Okay, the difference between what I shared of an earthly kingdom and how it's done is that every step begins to break that child, right? First, from their godly connection, it starts to put a tear. Okay, look at this as a tapestry, right? And every time, and your body and your spirit are supposed to be connected. So every time that these laws of creation are broken, there's a disconnect, okay? A disconnect, okay? So a separation each time one of these iniquities occurs in ourselves or family lines, it takes it puts a tear in our tapestry, our energy field, okay? And what that does is when it creates that tear, it creates a dark void. Okay, so I'm going to go back to a minute of how that intense light, okay, that intense light that child is supposed to be, that baby is supposed to be experiencing at that moment, is literally being ripped from them. Okay, so if we can understand that, then we understand how iniquity is occurring. Okay, this is the root of the problem. When that iniquity occurs, it is because voids have entered in, separation has entered in of our connect to the heavenly realm, our connect to ourselves. Okay, and so what the closest thing in this world is to that that intense light, and that's why he had me, that's why Father and Mother had me use the word orgasmic, right? The most intense orgasm you can have, is because the world goes seeking for that light that they were robbed from. And the closest thing to that is what the world has to offer. Okay, so when this break happens, you literally get sexual iniquity. And our jobs as mothers, you can't change a generational curse until you know that it's there. And as we go inward and first heal our own broken cords, then the Lord will begin to walk you through, and it's a right. These strands are supposed to become 5-stranded cords between you. Well, let me take that back. These cords are on all different levels, okay? But the Lord will literally show you, if you just sit with him and you sit with Mother, just have them show you the cords that have been broken first within yourself and then within your children and your posterity and your family. So what the Lord had showed me when I was taken through this process was I was handed 2 needles. And I was literally shown when a tear in the tapestry, my energy field, occurred. And it was 2 needles, cords of light, right? And he was like, weave them in and out. Okay, so I was weaving them like this, as if you were weaving a tapestry. Well, not only does that make a motion of a figure 8, right? It's also making a DNA strand. A cord of light is being connected back to your tapestry. It's being connected back to your energy field. So if we truly want to heal this world and start at the root of the problem, it starts with understanding the laws of creation that have been broken, because every time that a person participates in these iniquities I've talked about, it's almost like a separation in their brain that it just creates more and more dark, more and more void. And it becomes that addiction because they don't know how else to fill it. And there's so much dark. We have the power within us, mothers, to help rid this darkness from our posterity lines, to break these chains and these cords that are literally continuing this generational curse, and is why this world is truly at its highest peak of sexual sin it's ever been at. And it's literally destroying the family of God that is supposed to be bringing the unity and love back together. This will help heal us. This will help heal these cords. This will help heal our posterity and heal our children. We have the power to go within. I encourage you to sit with Heavenly Mother today. Mothers, sit with her and let her show you. This process is beautiful and amazing, and it is meant to heal. We are healers, and we have the power within us to heal this world. But we have to know the root of the problem so we can heal the root of the problem, because you have to go inside out. And as you do it with yourself, then you will be able to see how generationally, and how our children and that disconnect that came with our children, how childbirth has become so far, it's just become such a place of, well, we can take away your pain, and it can be totally like pain-free, and we can choose your due date, and just like everything has been literally to disconnect our children from God, from themselves, from creation, from other people. This disconnect has to stop, and it has to be healed. Mothers, it starts with us, and it starts with our creation. And we created our children. And by the grace of God, the Lord can heal all things. I was taken back to some scriptures that I was given were in, let me see, Isaiah 59, 1 and 2, Psalms 30, and Psalms 32. So I encourage you to read them. And I encourage you to go to the Lord and look inward. Take this, please, to Mother. If you understand that the Lord is the master healer, and as he walks us through our healing process, then we are taken back into the presence of Father and Mother. And then they begin to show us it on a grander scale of the laws of creation and the power of Father and Mother that live within fathers and mothers that are here upon the earth. I pray that you all have a blessed day, and I pray that this came off with clarity and with insight. You will see halfway through that I'm going to try to connect these 2 videos together, because I thought that I had paused it because I was needed a drink, and I didn't pause it. I actually shut the video off. So I'm hoping to be able to connect these 2 videos together. And I pray that this truly will begin a healing process. And mothers, again, you have to ask yourself, when is enough enough? And how much of the filth and the, we've been pleading for Father and Mother, help us to help our children who are, so confused, and the sexual sin is at an all-time high. How do we help this generation that is so lost? How do we help them? Our prayers are being answered if we see what is being given and we truly take it back to them for the purposes in which it's being given. And then we can understand what it means in Isaiah 49 to be, the nursing fathers and mothers that this world truly needs. God bless and have an amazing day.